everybody. This podcast is about strategy analysis and choice. In strategic analysis and choice, a three-stage decision-making framework can be used. This may help in generating, identifying, evaluating, and selecting strategies. It seeks to determine alternative courses of action that could best enable the firm to achieve its mission and objectives.
In the strategic formulation analytical framework, there are three stages: the input, the matching, and the decision. The stage 1 of the formulation framework consists of the external factor evaluation matrix, the internal factor evaluation matrix, and the competitive profile matrix, also called as the input stage. It summarizes the basic input information needed to formulate strategy. Stage 2, or the matching stage, focuses upon generating feasible alternative strategies by aligning key external and internal factors. It has 5 techniques, which include the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threat matrix, the strategic position, and action evaluation matrix. All of these tools mentioned were already discussed by the previous group. So now let us continue in discussing the remaining tools of stage 2.
After stage matrix is the BCG matrix or the Boston Consulting Group matrix. When a firm's divisions compete in different industries, a separate strategy often must be developed for each business. It is designed specifically to enhance a multi-divisional firm's efforts to formulate strategies. It also focuses on relative market share position and industry growth rate. Here's the diagram of a BCG matrix. The relative market share position is given on the x-axis. The y-axis represents the industry growth rate in sales, measured in percentage terms. Each circle represents a separate division. The size of the circle corresponds to the proportion of the corporate revenue generated by that business unit, and the pie slice indicates the proportion of corporate profit generated by that division. The diagram is divided into 4 quadrants. Each quadrant represents a division's current situation. Divisions located in quadrant 1 are called question marks. It means that they have a low relative market share position, yet they compete in a high-growth industry. Generally, these firms' cash needs are high, and their cash generation is low. They are called the question marks because the organization must decide whether to strengthen them by pursuing an intensive strategy like market penetration, market development, and product development, or to sell them, while those located in quadrant 2 are called stars. The stars represent the organization's best long-run opportunities for growth and profitability. Divisions with a high relative market share and higher industry growth rate should receive substantial investment to maintain or strengthen their dominant position. Forward, backward, and horizontal integration, market penetration, market development, and product development are appropriate strategies for these divisions to consider. Moving to the third quadrant, which is called cash cows, meaning they have high relative market share position but compete in a low-growth industry. They are called cash cows because they generate cash in excess of their needs. They are often looked. Cash cow divisions should be managed to maintain their strong position for as long as possible. Product development or diversification may be attractive strategies for strong cash cows. However, as a cash cow division becomes weak, retrenchment or divestiture can become more appropriate. Lastly, those divisions located in quadrant 4 are called dogs. This means that the company has a low relative market share position and compete in a slow or no market growth industry. Because of their weak internal and external position, these businesses are often liquidated, divested, or trimmed down through retrenchment. When a division first becomes dogs, retrenchment can be the best strategy to pursue. The major benefit of the BCG is that it draws attention to the cash flow, investment characteristics, and needs of an organization's various divisions.
Another tool similar to BCG is the IE or the internal-external matrix. Both tools involve plotting organization divisions in a schematic diagram. This is why they are called portfolio matrices. Also, the IE matrix requires more information about divisions than the BCG matrix, and it is based on two key dimensions: the IFE total weighted scores on the x-axis and the EFE total weighted scores on the y-axis. As seen in the diagram, the IE matrix positions in a 9-cell display. It can be divided into 3 major regions that have different strategy implications. First, the prescription for divisions that fall into cells 1, 2, or 4 can be described as grow and build. Intensive or integrative strategies can be most appropriate for these divisions. Second, divisions that fall into cells 3, 5, or 7 can be managed best with hold and maintain strategies. Third, a common prescription for divisions that fall into cells 6, 8, or 9 is harvest or divest.
To complete the tools of the Stage 2 is the GSM or the Grand Strategy Matrix. All organizations can be positioned in one of the Grand Strategy Matrix 4 strategy quadrants. A firm's divisions likewise could be positioned. The Grand Strategy Matrix is based on 2 evaluative dimensions, which are competitive position and market industry growth. Firms located in Quadrant 1 are in an excellent strategic position. Continued concentration on current markets, which are market penetration and market development, and products, which is product development, is an appropriate strategy. These quadrant firms can afford to take advantage of external opportunities in several areas. They can take risks aggressively when necessary. Firms positioned in Quadrant 2 need to evaluate their present approach to the marketplace seriously. Although their industry is growing, they are unable to compete effectively, and they need to determine why the firm's current approach is ineffective and how the company can best change to improve its competitiveness. Firms in Quadrant 3 compete in slow growth industries and have weak competitive positions. These firms must make some drastic changes quickly to avoid further decline and possible liquidation. Finally, Quadrant 4 have a strong competitive position but are in a slow growth industry. These firms have the strength to launch diversified programs into more promising growth areas.
To complete the stages of the whole framework, we will now proceed to the last stage, the decision stage. Analysis and intuition provide a basis for making strategy formulation decisions. The matching techniques just discussed feasible alternative strategies. To determine the best strategy, an analytical technique is designed. It is the QSPM, or the Quantitative Strategic Planning Matrix.
For the QSPM matrix, let us have the retail computer store as an example. Let us see the step-by-step procedure. First, make a list of the firm's key external opportunities, threats, internal threats in the left column of the QSPM. Remember, this information should be taken from the EFE matrix and IFE matrix. Second, assign weights to each key external and internal factor. Again, these weights are identical of those in the EFE matrix and IFE matrix. Step 3 is examine once again stage 2, which is the matching matrices. Then, identify alternative strategies that the organization should consider implementing. We will put this at the top row of the QSPM. Then step 4, let us determine the attractiveness score and ask, does this factor affect the choice or strategies being made? If the answer is yes, then strategies should be compared relative to that factor. The range of attractiveness is from 1 to 4, 1 being the not attractive to 4 being highly attractive. And if the answer to the previous question is no, then do not assign attractiveness score but simply put a dash to indicate that the key factor does not affect the choice being made. Then in step 5, we now compute the total attractiveness score. We can compute it by simply multiplying the weights in step 2 and the attractiveness score in step 4. The higher the total attractiveness score, the more attractive the strategic alternative. So now, the last step is we compute the sum total attractiveness score. Just add the total attractiveness score in each strategy column of the QSPM. Higher scores indicate more attractive strategy. So that means, here in our example, we will choose alternative strategy 1, which is to buy new land and build new larger store because it has 4.36 sum total attractiveness score compared to 3.27 of strategy 2, which is to fully renovate existing store.
In conclusion, the essence of strategy formulation is an assessment of whether an organization is doing the right things and how it can be more effective in what it does. Every organization should be wary of becoming a prisoner of its own strategy because even the best strategies become obsolete sooner or later. Regular appraisal of strategy helps management avoid complacency. Objectives and strategies should be consciously developed and coordinated and should not merely evolve out of day-to-day operating decisions. An organization with no sense of direction and no coherent strategy precipitates its own demise. When an organization does not know where it wants to go, it usually ends up someplace it does not want to be. Every organization needs to consciously establish and communicate clear objectives and strategies.